Hey guys. I have an interesting job. I walk all over people. And now I'm not a life coach for masochists or one of those restaurants where they spend the whole time insulting you, which sounds kind of like fun. My name is Ryan Edwards. Like I said, I'm a massage therapist. I've been working in the industry for 14 years. Recently opened up a private practice, Wenatchee Valley Massage Clinic, here down on the Avenue in the Morris building, kind of right next door to Firehouse Pet Shop. First floor, end of the hall. It's myself, my office partner, and a bunch of lawyers, so it's an interesting mix of people. One of the techniques that I do in my practice is called ashiatsu. So it's similar to possibly other types of massage that you've experienced, only it's utilizing my feet. Now, I don't literally walk on people. My feet are used more for compression and stretching, kind of more typical of what you'd experience with other types of massage. Now, my practice itself, I don't emphasize that. Like what's in the name clinic, I consider myself more of a clinical practice and a subjective practice. So with that, what I mean is, in addition to sort of the relaxation aspect of massage, with the clinical part of it, it's more about treating specific conditions. So for example, whether it's that persistent migraine that makes you a little bit short with your kids or your significant other, low back issue that makes it difficult to concentrate at work, or say foot pain that keeps you from hiking or going to the gym, or at least is a nice excuse. And then the subjective part of it is that I also believe that no two people are alike. No two people respond the same to different forms of treatment. Some people do really well with incredibly deep work. Some people, not at all, light pressure, and most everyone somewhere in between. What really matters is not necessarily how much can you take, not no pain, no gain, but more what works for your specific condition. Excuse me if I'm a little bit slow this morning. My 3-year-old decided to play Clifford the Red Dog has insomnia last night. So I could go on about, the science of massage and that sort of thing, but that's not what we're here for today. We're here more for talking about business. And my past experience has been, like I said, I've been doing this for about 14 years. Started out working up in Leavenworth. Did that for about 2 years, left for independent practice right out the gate. And that was, in a nice way to put it, a little bit optimistic. I didn't have as much experience with, say, customer service. There were lots of angles that I was missing, so I kind of struggled for a little bit. Went from full-time to part-time. As far as putting myself out there, I tried everything. I tried radio, print, web, social media, that sort of stuff. None of it really worked, and I couldn't really figure it out. But to be fair to radio, I didn't have the budget to get a ditty. So, I wasn't Bob Files gonna make you smile. I didn't have that. It's a little bit easier to put that in people's ears rather than let me walk on you. So going from that, I did part-time, went from that to working at a chiropractor's office here in town. Did that for about 3 years and got way more experience in the customer service sort of end, made a lot of realizations of different ways to practice. The two of them are the different ways to put yourself out there. The main one being face-to-face. Nothing really makes up for any form of face-to-face. You may have actually seen me doing some of my massage down at Pybus. I've got a little table set up with a bar system so that I can actually kind of just give people a little taste of what it's like. But the ashiatsu is a great technique. In that circumstance, it's more of an attention grabber. So the face-to-face part of it is that I get to talk to the person. I get to answer their questions, tell them that they don't necessarily have to do the ashiatsu, that there's lots of other techniques that we can do. They don't have to do deep tissue. They don't have to listen to new age music. Thank God for streaming radio or streaming music. I don't get to explain to them more about massage if they're new to it, or say they've had an awkward or ineffective experience. Already?
It goes fast.
Oh my God. Okay. So basically, face-to-face has been what's worked best. I've also done outreach, adult education, beginners and massage classes, as well as coming up here, continuing ed for massage and other healthcare professionals. I really enjoy doing that, not only as a form of outreach, but just as part of my business. I left the chiropractor's office with the confidence that I'd be able to do it, and the momentum out the gate was great. Been able to keep my books pretty full. Technology is amazing. In private practice before, we didn't have online booking or anything like that, which helps keep me sane, that someone can book their appointment at 2 in the morning if they want to, which some people do. And then also hired a billing person to keep myself sane. So all of those things together have been going well. My dilemma right now is that that momentum out the gate is starting to kind of go down a little bit. Now, I know what it is. You get turnover in the industry no matter what. So I'll have pretty solid regulars that will, move, have other health issues, lose their insurance, those sorts of things. So being in the office and being able to get out there and do more face-to-face is tricky. So what I'm wondering today is what ideas you may have or experiences you may have juggling, like say, outreach, your business, and family, those sorts of things, because all of that kind of restricts everything, and moving around with that, I'm relatively new to this, so that's why I'm here. I would say my main demographic is typically between the ages of like 35 and 65, right around there, right where, right around that age where you start to wake up and you're like, what did I do to my back now? Generally in that age. I don't do a lot of pediatric or teen massage, although I do work with some teen athletes, which can be really helpful. But that's my main demographic. And when I've done PIBIS, that's been an amazing resource, and that's mostly who shows up. And I leave that every time I do it with about 1 to 2 clients every single time.
So sort of like the aging recreational weekend athlete type?
Yes. Yeah. Active, athletic type, people who are experiencing chronic pain, that sort of thing. So, yes?
So I have a couple of thoughts for you. It sounds like you do take insurance, so
Yes.
Getting connections, maybe you already have them with the PT offices and different physicians who might refer people to you. And then with regard to the social aspect, given that you have family, you might want to think about doing stuff with groups, like Wenatchee Outdoors, we can take your kids, and then join the chamber or maybe a Rotary group, because those connections, and Rotaries meet once a week, that might be a lot for you, but you will get those connections because so I get physical therapy and massage very frequently because I have that kind of body that needs it, and it is all word of mouth who we use.
Yeah.
I'm in that world of people that use that a lot. It's 100% word of mouth. Nobody looks at ads.
No.
So you really got to get out there with the people who are doing that, and if you've got kids, then just go out and do stuff with groups. And like if you're thinking, oh, let's take the family for a hike, don't just go do that. Go look on Wenatchee Outdoors, or the Chelan Douglas Land Trust has group things, and do it with the group, so you can say, hi, I do massage.
It's funny how that works like that. I hadn't thought about Rotary and the Outdoors Club. That's a good idea. And I haven't, that is one thing that somehow I haven't done, is reach out to the PT offices or the doctors.
PT's
Yeah, yeah. No, I need to do that. Thank you. Thank you.
You do like an email contact.
Yes, and that's one thing that's, like I said, has made a lot of it possible. I don't really think I'd be where I'm at without the technology. The booking program that I use has like a reminder, that wonderful guilt-inducing "we haven't seen you in a while" sort of thing. And then also I send out like a weekly update as to what openings are coming up, and that usually, kind of nudges people into making appointments, and usually sort of fills a lot of the last minute sort of stuff. So I've gotten a lot of really good feedback on that. Initially with social media, back when Facebook was a little bit more friendly to small business, I would do that sort of stuff. But I probably should do that. One thing I really try to do is teach people self-care when they're done, and that's usually a part of when I go to do some sort of speaking engagement, is not only saying come and do massage, but here's some other things you can do. So yeah, I should probably do that as well. So thank you. It's an interesting industry because there's a huge spectrum. There's spa and that sort of thing, and then there's more on the clinical end of it. And I told myself when I made this shift towards the clinical aspect is that I would kind of avoid discounts or payment plans or that sort of stuff, because having a billing person, even having a billing person with insurance, is tricky enough keeping track of that sort of stuff. I do think about doing the appreciation events. So if anyone has any ideas as to what I could do for that, that would be great. But yeah, I tried to make a conscious effort in the beginning to not discount myself, as tempting as it is, Yeah. Yes.
So the type of massage that you do is unique. Do you know, A, if anyone else does this in Wenatchee? And B, I think you have a real opportunity to educate the community on a type of massage we have no clue about.
Yeah, yeah. And that's one thing that I really try to do, and what makes the PIVAS thing so great is people just get to see it. It's not a mystery. It's not like when I would do print or flyers, it was like, here's a paragraph about a guy that's going to walk on you. Like, what is that about?
People might get grossed out. You need to explain the cleanliness factor.
Exactly. Or like I said, that it doesn't even have to be the ashiatsu. Like, there's lots of other techniques that I use, myofascial release, some cranial sacral. There's even really interesting techniques it's inner jaw work. And what it's done, it's usually more for migraine sufferers, grinding TMJ. But you actually, you put on, it's done with the idea that there are structures inside the jaw that cause the issue, not just the outside. So it's done by putting on a glove and then working from the inside, which, of course, kind of like the ashiatsu, it's not one that you necessarily want to just throw out there unless it's more specific to the person. Because it's amazing work. It works really well. I have issues myself, and it was part of the reason why I got into massage.
My husband had that. From a trip to the dentist where they cranked his jaw, and it hurt a lot. And finally, after going back to the dentist a couple times, he got referred to a jaw massage person who stuck her finger in his mouth and did something, and poof, gone. So
Yeah.
if you build that as, does your jaw hurt, especially after going to the dentist and having it cranked open for an hour?
Yeah.
I don't think that would gross people out. That would be like, oh, thank goodness, my jaw hurts.
Yeah, yeah. And that is another thing that I haven't done, is
Dentist.
reached out to the dentist. And that's definitely what I try to, exactly. That is one thing I try to do, is reach out within the downtown. It's nice having like the courthouse so close, those sorts of things. I haven't really, the only outreach I've done within my building has been sliding a flyer under the door and running into people here and there, but I wouldn't say that I've gone out of my way. And then also one thing, an open house would be a great idea, because there's only 2 of us there. There's no front desk person right now. So we have to keep the door locked, if we're both in session, for lots of different reasons, just security, HIPAA, privacy, that sort of thing. So yeah, I should definitely look into that. Well, I thought about doing they had the Downtown Association Girls Night Out. Because I have the portable bars, I thought about just setting up right outside the building. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if we have any more upcoming events like that. Awesome.
I think you could add that to Ale Trail, right?
I know, I was just saying, have a beer, get your back feeling better, have another beer, yeah.
That'd be great.
Traveler do any on-site massage? Like if there was a group of people, for instance, like at a business who maybe they want to have like an employee like health day or something?
And that's, yes, I've definitely done that before. I've done it, I did it for the North Central Regional Library Office. In fact, I've done it for 3 years now. Also for Confluence, just going down there and doing the same thing I do as Pybus, the table setup. I do like 15 minutes, that sort of thing. I have wanted to kind of offer like an in-office sort of thing, but the only issue with that is that I need to be able to make up for what I'm losing at the office. So typically it would have to be a paid event, but I know that it makes your employees incredibly happy to do so. And I need, usually with something like that, probably about 2 to 3 month notice just to be able to fit it in. Because in addition to being there for 3 or 4 hours, it's usually about 2.5 hours for setup and takedown and that sort of thing. But yes, I love doing that. The tricky part is the setup is a little bit bigger than a chair massage. Chair massage is nice and portable, whereas I need, 10 by 12 space to kind of fit everything in. That's one thing I don't do is chair massage. I just don't find it as effective myself as if I get someone on the table. Chair massage is great and it's soothing, but I'm going to work on somebody's shoulder and not address their hip, and when they get off the table, they're back to here. So, yes, I do that.
There is a
Sure.
vast array of marketing opportunities out there for your business. And when you market, you want to brand yourself so that people remember you.
Yeah,
So if you're just dropping off flyers that has a paragraph of information, it's not going to pique their interest because it's like, what is he trying to say? Never heard of this before.
yeah,
So there's oodles and oodles of ways to market and brand yourself out there in print, online, social media, radio.
yeah, definitely. It's tricky juggling all that, and like I said, I know now with what I've tried what didn't work, and what I would maybe change about things, like eventually if the name got out there, maybe I would love getting a radio ditty, I don't know.
Well,
But-
what you should do
or more
is
branding.
sit down with somebody that's in the industry and do a needs analysis, have them do a needs analysis on you to learn about your business, who your clientele is, who you have now, who you want to reach, what you've done, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and then have them supply you different types of opportunities. I'm with the Wenatchee world. I'm
Oh.
a salesperson.
Hi.
And we have lots and lots of different types of publications that a person could do a print ad in. We've got our online website, Facebook, you can boost, you can do geofencing, digital targeting. There's just so much available for businesses out there. And it can be very affordable, especially for small businesses. You don't have
Yeah.
to spend thousands of dollars to
Yeah.
get your name out there.
No, when I was doing it 10 years ago too, they didn't have the focal point marketing online that they do now, at least not as widely available.
Like geofencing, you can put an invisible fence around a business or a geographical area. Say like you did something around the senior center here.
Yeah.
They go through with their smartphone. Their phone is pinged. Your ad is served up to them and they start seeing your name. It can be tracked as far as how many impressions, how many times your ad comes up, to going to your website, to physically going to your business.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's amazing what a person can do out there to get their name out there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
don't discount advertising.
Oh yeah. No, like I said, I think I just know more what I did wrong with it. rather than whether or not it necessarily worked as a whole. And I would love to do bigger campaigns.
Don't cost you money either, you know.
That's part of it too, Capital.
Newsletters that are always looking for content for that they can partner with another expert for. So, you know, some of those opportunities that there might be some synergies in that, yeah.
You know Tandy over at the Hunter's Wife Health Bar? She does wellness.
Oh, Tandy, yeah, I've only met her once or twice.
I highly recommend you talking to her. She does wellness days and brings people in and
Oh,
for different types of diseases and trying to help people. So I recommend you.
check that out. Okay. Yeah, I've got her on Facebook. I'll have to reach out. Thank you. Yes.
Have you utilized Instagram and Instagram stories?
No. I'll admit that I think I've kind of fallen behind with some of my social media, and I need to get on Instagram because I know that there's been a shift from Facebook over there. So not quite yet. That's probably within the next month. I'm hoping to do that.
What are things that you're looking at? How you find out about things? I find that asking people, especially the people that are already coming to you,
Yeah.
people that you want to keep coming to you, so just ask them, and I bet you'll find out some really fascinating things.
Yeah.
You didn't even consider.
And kind of a more indirect way to, ask for referrals. I would think that'd be much less pressure.
Ask their opinions, and if they're invested, then they will help you. And
Yeah.
they're already coming to you, they know who you offer, so.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good idea. Yes.
So with regard to the writing columns or Instagram or whatever, I've seen a lot of businesses start those and then not have the energy to finish.
Yeah.
So don't start something that you announced is regular,
No.
because
Yeah.
then you look stupid and people think you dropped the ball. And so it sounds really good. And I can tell you, you could get a free column in the Wenatchee World once a week, easy. There's a veterinarian who's doing it. She's young. She'll find out. I used to do that.
Oh, Megan, yeah.
The columns. Unless you get a bank of those way ahead, you are going to not have material really soon.
Yeah.
So these ideas like to contribute once to the teachers union newsletter, that's easy because you're not committed. Oh my gosh, it's deadline. I got to think of something to write.
Yeah. No, it's a really good point because I've done that before working with other companies. I worked for Wenatchee Natural Foods and did some of the marketing there, and that was the initial momentum just Yes.
Big round of applause for Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you.